Foremost, I'm going to start this video off by saying that I'm a Christian. Before politics and everything else, I identify as a Christian. Hindu temples and all of the Muslim mosques are a result of toleration. In America, for example, we say one nation under God. We don't say one nation under 50,000 Hindu gods. We don't say one nation under Muhammad. The goals and the growth of the mosques and the temples do not show they want to assimilate, it shows that they want to overtake. And Texas has put up with it for too long. There's a drastic difference between treating people with kindness and respect and allowing them to come into the country and embrace American culture for what it is, instead of allowing these people to come into the country and bring their cultures with them and try to take over residential areas, cities that were once predominantly white.
Howdy. Fellow Texan here. I'm a Houstonian. I was born in Brownsville, Texas, and I love being a Texan. I love barbecue. I love steak. I love H-E-B. I love Dr. Pepper. I love lemonade. I love iced tea. And you can throw in there, if you want to, some Whataburger and some Buc-ee's. Now, the second thing is, you talked about that how here in Texas, there's a lot of other individuals that are coming, whether it's from other parts of the United States or it's from other countries. They have different skin colors, they have different languages, they have different ways of religion, etc. One of the great things about here in Texas is that we are typically voted in, and studies have shown that we're number 2 and number 1 and 2 for multiculturalism. I love it. And that just simply means, of course, that there's a lot of individuals from all different languages, all different ethnicities. You get the idea, that live in Texas. Now, typically when people hear about multiculturalism, what's the first thing they talk about? Food. Now, the food here is awesome, but it's more than about food. It's about people's language, people's ethnicities, people's, their skin tone, and how they bring other things. And it does include their lifestyle, and it does include religion. And that is what makes us strong as Texas. But to continue on with that, have you forgotten that Texas was part of Mexico first? And there was, upon thousands of years, there was people here that were not white. And you talked about, let's go into the next point. You talked about how that there was individuals that were coming here to Texas, but they were not assimilating. Well, hold on a minute there. Don't forget, and it might be your ancestors, don't forget that the white people immigrated to the United States, right? But it wasn't the United States, it was the Americas. Stay here, making them settlers. There was already people here for over 30,000 years. White people did not assimilate. You've got it wrong. Now, let's just keep going. You talked about religion. And of course, you said, yeah, there's Muslims over here, there's Hindus over here, and you talked about, you made it sound like some invasion that's just totally not happening. Now, you said about how that, and connecting all this together, how that one nation under God. Okay, now don't forget, it was a human being that wrote that. But just picture God as this big umbrella. This is so easy, which brings me to a simple question for you. Are you a Christian that believes that Jesus is God? Now, I'm not interested in getting into the dogma. You might be. Interestingly enough, Jesus said something. He said the most important commandment is that we love God with all our hearts. Woo! We all love that, don't we? But the second commandment, he said right after that, is the second most important commandment is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Well, you don't sound that way. You said tolerate. That's not loving your neighbor as you love yourself. You sound like you have animosity towards the Hindus, the Muslims, the Buddhists, any Christian that's not your Christian, the atheist, anyone who doesn't have what you claim to be your value system. Your value system, you said, has to be based on the Bible. The Bible has that Jesus is God, according probably to what your Christianity is, which means that he said the second and the most important commandment was to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Therefore, you or me, if we say or do anything differently, we're wrong. Again, if you or me do anything differently, say anything differently, act anything differently, or try to use another scripture to prove that wrong, we're automatically wrong. So, Texas is great because we're not trying to limit who comes here. We're not trying to limit how you live your life. We want you to expand, just like we're trying to expand our space program. That's how we want you to come here in Texas and to live your life, because that is called being awesome. That's patriotic. And that, my friend, is Texan and American.